Hello and welcome to today's Facecast. Today we're looking at a passage in Luke's Gospel when Jesus is with his disciples and dealing and talking with them. Sometimes you'll hear preachers say things and talk about the context in which that they're talking about is set. And the context is all important about what's happening and why. There's this little verse part of a verse in Luke's Gospel, chapter 22, verse 40, where he says, pray, Jesus is talking to his disciples and says to them, pray that you will not fall into temptation. On its own, that seems straightforward, doesn't it? Pray, that is, say your prayers, and in your prayers, pray that temptation won't come your way, or if it does, you won't fall into it. That's something we can pray for. But look at the context in which it's set. Jesus went out as usual to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples followed him. On reaching the place, he said to them, pray that you will not fall into temptation. He withdrew about a stone's throw beyond them, knelt down and prayed. Okay, so that gives us a bit more information, doesn't it? Jesus isn't just saying to them, pray that you will not fall into temptation. He's saying it to them in a particular circumstances and situation. He has gone out of the city to the Mount of Olives outside the city, and they have followed him. They followed him because they want to be with him, learn from him, sit under his teaching and guidance. And he says this to them before he does something. He says to them, pray that you will not fall into temptation, as he moves away from them, as he leaves them. It says here a stone's throw. So at some distance, he moves away from them to pray on his own. So he has left them. They are on their own. And that's when he tells them to pray that they don't fall into temptation, when they are apart from him, when they haven't got him close to them. Because he knows, Jesus knows, that's when they're at their weakest, when they are not close to him and leaning on him. That's when they might easily slip away into the temptations that come their way. And what happens? Well, there's a temptation to fall asleep, and they fall asleep. And Jesus comes back to them and says, could you not stay awake a little while longer? That's the temptation he's saying to them. Without me with you, the chances are you'll revert to your old ways. You'll sleep when you should be praying. You'll fall back into old ways. Well, as it was for them, as it is for us, if we are close to God, if we are close to Jesus, if we are walking with him, literally walking with him each day, then we're not likely to fall into temptation. If we step apart from him and are isolated from him, we can easily fall into temptation. Is there a circumstance, a situation you can think of where you might be apart from Jesus, separated from him? How about being in lockdown, when you're prevented from going to church and having close fellowship with other Christians, when you might not be singing his praises and offering your prayers in church? That's an opportunity to fall away, to fall into temptation. That's why we need to be self-disciplined as much as possible these days. As Jesus says to his disciples, pray that you will not fall into temptation, in brackets, to fall away from me and not follow my ways. That's what Jesus asks of them. That's what he asks of us. And that's our part of the relationship we have, the covenant relationship. He will be our God and we will be his people. Pray today that you don't fall into temptation of forgetting Jesus. See you soon. Bye for now.